And just as today, the president threw out the first ball to open the baseball season in Washington. Quarter century back, it was FDR and Lefty Gomez on the mound for the Yankees. That opening day, 25 years ago, the Senators won 1-0. In Fenway Park, Boston, Connie Mack and Joe Cronin exchanged hellos, while at New York's Polo Grounds, Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia got things underway. Babe Ruth was in the stand.
The opening of the baseball season brings the nation's #1 fan to Griffith Stadium, together with Baseball Commissioner Chandler, Vice President Barkley, Senator Vandenberg, and managers Joe Kuehl and Connie Mack, whose Senators and Athletics meet in the Capitol's opener. The president picks the underdog Senators. The world's highest paid pitcher warms up, and there it goes. Play ball! Ray Scarborough pitches to Eddie Juice, and another Truman prediction comes true as Washington wins the season's opener.
King Baseball takes over the sports picture. At Washington, crowds swarm into Griffith Stadium for the first game of the 1957 season. The Baltimore Orioles versus the Washington Senators. In the great tradition of the opening game, President Eisenhower is here with national leaders Vice President Nixon and Presidential Assistant Sherman Adams. And the President receives a cordial greeting from managers Chuck Gresson and Paul Richards. Then the big moment as Ike throws out the first ball. The season gets officially underway as the ump cries, "Play ball." A real fan, Ike doesn't miss a trick as Washington pitcher Bob Chircolles throws to Gardner. It's a single for the first hit of the game. This time, Chircolles faces Neiman. He slams out a sizzler that scores Gardner. The Orioles go on to win 7-6.
In the nation's capital, the 1961 baseball season opens with a new president, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, throwing out the first ball. And there's a new Washington Senators club also making its major league debut. The former Senators moved out to Minneapolis in the American League's expansion program to become the Twins. President Kennedy and his party launched not only a new season, but a new club. Like a long-time tradition, the new baseball Senators meet the fate that almost traditionally befell the old club, going down to defeat 4-3. Despite the spring equinox, the season never really arrives in the U.S. until the familiar cry of "Play ball" rings out. In Washington, a grand and ancient tradition is carried out as President Johnson arrives to throw out the first ball as 1,000 shutters click. In his first starting appearance as president, Mr. Johnson makes a mighty heave that has the two teams scrambling for the honor of grabbing the hallowed horsehide. Then the president does an autographing stint, and the two teams turn to the business at hand. The Washington Senators meet with the Los Angeles Angels in the opener, and the president sticks to the bitter end. A bitter end it is, too, for the home team. Los Angeles whips Washington 4-0. The president may be wondering if Washington's new slogan is going to work. The slogan is rumored to be, "Off the floor."
On hand to give a hand are the president, his wife, and baseball's commissioner, Bowie Kuhn. The president sets the style for the early part of the game. Pitching dominates.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
President Ford shaking hands first with American League manager Darrell Johnson. Rocky Anderson. President Ford standing at home plate. Nice welcome from the Philadelphia fans. Now the president making his way toward the presidential box with both managers. Of course, in Washington, there is no baseball, as all baseball fans know. Robin Roberts, of course, a member of the 1950 Whiz Kids. Bob Uecker, did you ever face Robin Roberts?
Yes, I did. He was one of the other guys that struck me out, Warner.
Don't forget, we will be going back to New York perhaps later on tonight for the Democratic Convention, if it warrants itself to do so. There you see Thurman Munson, Hank Aaron, President Ford. Johnny Bench and Thurman Munson will go after the first ball as thrown. Now the president has a ball in each hand. Now, I guess he'll throw two balls, both right-handed, or will we see an ambidextrous throw? Remember, in the opening game in Washington, they used to throw the balls to all the players. It was really a madhouse.
Yeah, I liked it better that way, Warner, when he threw one ball to both ball clubs, and it was a mad scramble. That's why a lot of guys didn't get to play in the game. They got hurt then.
One right and one left. Ambidextrous throws by President Ford. Signing the balls, of course, for Munson and Bench.
This was just moments ago. Former Georgia governor, former President Jimmy Carter to throw out the first ball, and look at this pitch. You know, if the ump wants to give him the high strike, that's right in there, and with some hop on it. 43, we're told, on the radar gun. Not bad. You know, usually, look at this, afterwards, still spry, hops over the railing, and he's going to get a hug here from Jane Fonda. So already it's been a good night for Jimmy.
In 1988, President Ronald Reagan throws out the first pitch at Wrigley Field before a Cubs-Pirates game. Many fans missed his ceremonial first pitch, delayed by security agents at the front gate. Reagan did play-by-play for the Cubs in the 1930s, reading teletype from WHO radio in Iowa.
Taking over the role of a play-by-play announcer, Ronald Reagan at the mic.
Well, Harry, thank you very much. You know, in a few months I'm going to be out of work, and I thought I might as well audition.
Well, I'm afraid that you got this job anytime you want it, Mr. President.
All right, here comes the pitch, and there goes a hard-hit ball out into right field and taken right off the grass for an out.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by some very special guests for our ceremonial first pitch. First, please join me in welcoming proud Texan and the 41st President of the United States, George H.W. Bush. The President, 41, has the ceremonial first pitch ball and would like to, at this time, present it to his son, the 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush. He'll make his way out to the mound to toss tonight's ceremonial first pitch. Justin Verlander comes out, sets up behind the plate. And a strike it is. Ladies and gentlemen, your 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush, and his dad, the 41st President of the United States, George H.W. Bush.
A great moment here in Houston prior to Game 5. There's just something about George W. Bush and ceremonial first pitches. It works.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the ceremonial opening day first pitch, and doing those honors, we are honored for this presidential opener to have here in Baltimore the President of the United States, Bill Clinton.
President Bill Clinton throws.
For tonight's ceremonial first pitch. And please welcome the President of the United States. Mr. President.
Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Please welcome the President of the United States of America.
Any kind of opening day in Washington or Baltimore, there's going to be some political aspect attached to it. Moments ago, the 47th Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, threw out the first pitch to Chad Moeller, the backup catcher for the Baltimore Orioles, a former Yankee as well. So that signals the start of the baseball season.